Okay guys, so recently I featured the Volkswagen Tiguan Allspace. Today we are looking at its next closest competitor. This is the Peugeot 5008. So if you guys remember, the Peugeot 5008 started life as an MPV with the first generation model. But with the second generation model, Peugeot repackaged the concept to become an SUV. Now, utility-wise, you still get the same as what you got with the first gen model. You still got 7-seater practicality. You still got the same kind of cabin interior space. Same utility factor, same engine even, but with a more attractive SUV body style. And I have to say, this is a smart move, a very, very smart move on Peugeot's part. Because let's face it, MPVs are a thing of the past. SUVs are the future, and Peugeot is very smart in this. And the thing is that the 5008, it's not exactly a nameplate that carries the burden of legacy. It doesn't have the burden of history. So why not reinvent the product concept to be something more relevant to our times? Okay, and I have to say, look at the design. This is a very attractive looking car. You park this next to the Tiguan Allspace, this immediately very obviously looks like the more expensive car, and it is. Okay, this is a full 10,000 ringgit more expensive than the Tiguan Allspace 1.4 that we tested earlier. Okay, I think this is about 175,000 ringgit, and for that money you get the 1.6 liter turbo engine with 165 horsepower, proven powertrain paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission, drives the front wheels. Okay, well, it is, at the end of the day, this is a long wheelbase 7-seater derivative of the 3008, just like the Tiguan Allspace is the same for the regular Tiguan. Okay, so you can see this is the same front end as we got with the 3008. Very attractive front end, I would say. These headlights, these are the distinctive new Peugeot look, all right, that we saw in the 308, the 3008, now here the 5008 as well. What I like about these headlights is, firstly, this distinctive shape with this kink here. That's one. Second thing is the way they integrate the signal lights here. So see this LED strip here, this is the daytime running lights and the position lamp. Just on top here, you see these are the signal lights, and they stacked it so close. The idea is that from afar, all right, when you activate your signals, it's supposed to create the visual effect that it is actually, it looks like it's one blinking unit, but how it's just two stacked very close together. And I can see that this is a very cost-effective way, okay, of achieving a seemingly sophisticated effect, all right, because you don't need, you know, LEDs with changing colors, and yet at the same time you achieve the same visual effect. That is very clever, and it epitomizes the 5008 in general. This is a car that manages to make use of rather simple, rather rudimentary components, hardware and software, to create the impression that it is an immensely sophisticated car. This car is a very cleverly packaged car. We'll start by exploring the interior right now, okay, with a look at the tailgate. So this tailgate here has hands-free access as well, so you can kick under the bumper for the tailgate to open. And right here you can see this is the 5-seater mode, all right. And what's very clever here is that this board, this is a foldable board, all right, and pull this, that brings the third row seat up. Okay, let me just demonstrate that again. Okay, so you pull this and bring the seats up. Okay, to restore it back to 7-seater mode, all you have to do is just pull this and it drops down. Okay, and you put this board out like that. So you can see the contrast between 7-seater mode here, 5-seater mode here. Now, one thing that's very clever with Peugeot, the way they did this is, this board, okay, allows them the flexibility to design the seat however way they want, as long as it fits, as long as when folded, it fits below a certain level, and you just use this board to cover over it, all right? Unlike many other car makers, their solution is somehow make the seats fold to create a flat loading floor. This one, you just fold however you want. I put something on top to cover it. A very, very clever solution. Okay, the mechanism here is mechanical, but it feels relatively simple, relatively easy to use. So let me just pull this down again. All right. Now, to fold the middle row seats down, you have to reach for this red strip here. Pull down. Okay, the one over there went inside already. Now, this is one weakness here of the car. When you fold down the middle row, you don't get a proper flat loading floor. This is something that the Tiguan manages better, and it's something that even my S-Max manages better as well. So as you can see, with the third row seats up, the rear cargo space naturally is compromised. But what happens also is that this space down here now becomes a hidden compartment. Okay, there's also another compartment here for you to store away things. And unlike the case with the Tiguan, all right, the way they lay this out is that when you put something here, you don't have to worry that it will roll off here or roll off to a gap. No, okay, everything is contained within here, but it's a rather small space at the back there. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to come inside. Now, if you use the 5008 as a 5-seater, there is a great amount of leg room here on offer. All right, you've got rear aircon vents here with adjustable fan speed control. There is a USB port here, although the hole here, it's obviously molded to fit a 12-volt socket. All right, so now if you of course use this as a 7-seater, there is the option of adjusting your seat forward, and in which there is still a decent amount of leg room on offer. Lean angle is good. Okay, let me just pull this headrest up. You can adjust the lean backwards as well, and here you can also see that there is a bit of Peugeot chose to make a trade-off, all right, in the sense that they obviously sacrifice that, you know, the flat loading floor, that fully flat loading floor, in exchange for better thigh support for the middle passengers. Okay, so I think if you consider it in that sense, it's an acceptable trade-off. But I think what they could have done better is they could have created a better transition. You know, when you fold the seat down, a better transition between this and the rear section of the floor. I think that can still be done. All right, but definitely if you are seated here in the middle row, this is a better place to be in than the middle row of the S-Max or the Tiguan All-Space. Now, here you have it. This is the armrest. There is no foldable, there's no cup holder here. Oh, okay, there is actually. It pops out. And this tray here is rubberized, so you can park your phone inside here. All right, 2 ISOFIX mounts. Okay, so and you have these zippers here to pull down, and you can access the ISOFIX anchor inside there. All right, let's go to the back. Okay, so here the door card, similar construction to what we saw in the 3008. Hard plastic at the top here. This denim insert here, very nice. Okay, and but overall rather simple design. Good length on the door bin. All right, so let's get inside to the back seat. Right, so now of course, with this seat here adjusted a bit forward, I've got very good leg room. In fact, this is very spacious. I've got fantastic amount of headroom here. So definitely I think the 5008 has one of the best third row accommodations in this price point. And of course, forget about thigh support lah, you're not going to get it. Right below the camera there's a 12-volt socket. Here's a compartment for me here to store things as well. Another one here, a very shallow cup holder. Right, but overall, what really surprises me and impresses me here is the amount of space I have available. Even though this high window line and the high, panel line here contributes to a slight amount of claustrophobia in my view. But hey, this is a far better place than many other 3-row MPVs or SUVs at the same price point. Okay, to get down, lift this up, but off I go. So interestingly enough, there is no release latch here. I think the idea is for you to encourage you to get down on this side of the car. So first thing to do, start the engine inside here, and if you're accustomed to how most cars do it, you can't just touch and get away with it. You have to hold the start button and the car fires up. So full LCD cluster, floating touch screen here. All right, and well, typical of Peugeot, recent architectures, the steering wheel sits low. All right, it's a small and low steering wheel, and you see the instrument cluster over the steering wheel rather than through the steering wheel. Okay, and I have to admit that in terms of ergonomics, this is less intuitive than it was in the Volkswagen earlier. It took me a while to get accustomed to some of the controls in this car, but design-wise, you would really struggle to find a more special place to be in. Okay, this is the same cabin as we get with the 3008, but nothing wrong with that, because in terms of the way they design it, the futuristicness of this cabin, you can really feel, you can really see the effort that they put inside here to make this look and feel really special. So like this electronic shifter, for example, there are very conventional ways to design an electronic shifter, but Peugeot obviously chose the complicated way, to give this like a laser gun kind of shape. All right, and what's even better is that practicality is in no way compromised. There's a large storage tray here. There's another deep one here as well that would take, well, mobile phones smaller than a Samsung S20. 2 cup holders here, and this center console box really is, well, I can bury my whole arm in there. So you really can fit a lot of stuff in here. Okay, let me just bring you guys down here and show you in detail. All right, so this is a deep rubberized tray. Okay, this too as well, cup holder. See here inside, it goes really deep. Okay, now here the infotainment system. Now this is where the Volkswagen shows it's a more sophisticated product. So as you explore the various features that you can find inside here, it does not have anywhere near the level of underlying sophistication as the Volkswagen. Okay, so you get navigation. Here's where you also control the climate control, and here's also where you control the radio, all right, the tuner. So here's the instrument cluster. It took me a while to figure my way through this. So basically, this is the rotary knob where you use to dial through various display modes. Okay, so you have driving. Okay, and if you look closely, you can see that they have reorganized the speedometer and the tachometer here to create a sort of like a band-like display. All right, very cool looking. Okay, you can blank everything else to create a minimalist display. Personal. All right, yeah, and or you can have it at navigation. Now, one confusing thing here is that there is a button here, and there's a button here, and there's no label to tell you what it is. But what I found out is that this button is this button in this case controls,
say a command
activates,
after the tone.
Exit. Exit.
To set the user profile, say something like set user 1.
Cancel. All right, cancel. But
sorry, this audio source doesn't allow selection by song name.
But all right, there's another voice command button here. Now this is the button where you press, all right, to summon out the trip computer data, but it's not a permanent display. So let's say like right now I want to go to, I set my cluster to a traditional format. What happens is when I press to want to see, you know, what's my trip computer status, this is what I see, and then after a while it goes away. All right, back to the normal display. So that is something that to me, I think you know, sometimes I just like to, I'm the type that I like to monitor my driving range. So right now here, this is my driving range. I've got 100 kilometers left, but after a while this information goes away. So I think that's something that why not have that into like a permanent display, say here, because honestly in Malaysia we don't need a digital speedometer. This is only relevant in countries where speed limits are strictly enforced to the kilometer. That is not necessary in our market, in my opinion. So here you have it. This is a card holder, and then this is a button for you to lift the tailgate. All right.
Thank God that the brothers on the rise now. Endless celebrations all in my house. Levitating now, I'm super duper fly now. London boy, but DC where I reside now. Put the time in while you always yelling time out. And if quit it, cause I know I'm coming with it. You were sitting, you were wishing I was handling my business. Now I got the ball like Harry Potter playing Quidditch. And my business is humongous, you would think that happens in there. Oh man, I'm all that, yeah, I'm all that. Working for that whip, yeah, that what you call that. I'ma blow up in the summer, have them yelling fall back. And I've always been ahead like an effing ball cap. Man, I came in the game like whoa. Got a couple chains on me cause I like gold. They told me I'm the best and I told them I know. Cause when I'm in your town, every ticket I sold. Yeah, they saying I'm the man. Facts, bro. Lot of haters. Tell me where they at though. I'm the new pop, all I do is rap though.
Okay. Now the most impressive quality of the 500 here really is the ride. It is, in my opinion, a very, very plush riding vehicle. In fact, this is perhaps its biggest advantage against its closest rival. The Tiguan is a sportier drive. It's nicer to drive. It's more agile. Powertrain also is more responsive. Engine drivetrain more responsive. But in terms of plushness, no contest. This, no contest. And of course, the other advantage that the 500 has is its spacious third row. So if you regularly carry third row passengers, or if comfort is a high degree of priority for you, then the 500 definitely merits serious consideration. All right. But if your priorities are skewed more towards, you know, driving enjoyment, you want that agility in your car, then I think you may want to look. The Tiguan may be a better fit for your needs. Okay, so that comparison between the Tiguan and the 500 is indeed an interesting one, because you see, at first impression, you may think that this is a more expensive and a more sophisticated car. It is the more expensive car, but beneath the surface, the Tiguan is actually the more advanced vehicle. It is actually the more sophisticated vehicle. The Tiguan has independent rear suspension. This one does not. The Tiguan has a far more sophisticated electronic architecture underneath, because when you look through when you browse through the layers of menus inside this, the features inside the infotainment system and the instrument cluster, the Tiguan has so much more of these hidden layers of features hidden under the software, all right, versus the 5008 here. The 5008 here does a fantastic job in dressing itself up, but underneath it, it is a relatively simple vehicle. So if I were to compare, I would say that the Tiguan, no doubt it is the superior vehicle, but the 5008 here is the superior effort because it makes more out of less. All right, if you were to take the analogy of a classroom, the Tiguan is the top student. All right, is the top student, number one student, but it is also the student with the access to more study materials. It's probably the student with electricity at home at home every night, got a computer to help you study. Whereas the Peugeot is the guy who study under the candle lamp, oil lamp, maybe no water, that kind of thing, but still manages to be second or third in class. Basically, the guy that far exceeded expectations, the guy that far exceeded the resources at his or her disposal. But of course, as consumers, you don't look at that. You ultimately look at what are you getting for your product, and the answer is simple. You want an SUV. You want that you enjoy driving. You want an SUV with responsive performance, with responsive handling. You don't mind the people seated in the third row to have to duck their head a bit. Shove them in the Tiguan. But if family comfort is higher on your agenda, ride comfort is higher on your agenda, or you want something that makes you feel special sitting in it, looking in it, then the 5008 here, the 5 is definitely worth considering. Okay, so yeah, so that's our review of the 5008. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like our works, please subscribe our channel. The entire aurizn team links are in the description section below. Right, too many of them for me to mention by name here. All right, we also have Evo Club. Join us in Evo Club. In Evo Club you can participate in all activities. Of course, less so now with CMCO, but through Evo Club you can also renew your insurance and save 40%. If you are buying a new car, you can. All our reviews are here to help you to choose the best car that fits your needs and budget. If you are buying a used car, we have all the inspection centers for you to give your car a thorough check and see whether it's worth your effort or not. Right? If your warranty is coming to an end, extend your warranty with us. Evo Club extended warranty to give you at least 1 year of peace of mind, painless motoring. Okay, and yeah, and lastly, if you're looking for a place to service your car, you want to leave the official dealerships, come to our panel of trusted workshops, 76 trusted workshops all across the country. Many of these things, all these are part of a concentrated effort that we do, right, to become your companion in your journey of motoring, of car ownership. Okay, so yeah, that's it from me today. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys. Bye.